Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I am here with Mrs. Clem, one of our academic advisors for our VAVA High School, and I am Mrs. Moorbacher, another academic advisor. And today I have a few of our student leaders joining us today. We're going to give you some tips and pointers to help you have a wonderful high school experience here with VAVA. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you. So this is one of several videos that you will have a chance to watch that we're calling the series Real Talk, again, with your advisors as well as some of our student leaders. So our topic for this session today is the transition from middle to high school. So today we have several graduating, I should say, ninth graders or students that have just completed ninth grade today. This is their last day of ninth grade, and they're going to share with you a little bit about their experience as a ninth grader with VAVA. And I'm actually going to let them take the mic and introduce themselves, telling us their name and where they're from, and maybe how long they've been with VAVA.
Hi, I'm Kenesha Anderson. This is my third year at VAVA, and I live in Haymarket, Virginia.
All right, go ahead, Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan Jones. I've been with VAVA for 2 years, and I live in Ashburn, Virginia.
Hi, I'm Ariana Garza. I've been with VAVA for 4 years, and I live in King George, Virginia.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies, for that introduction. Okay, so to start off with, our student leaders are going to talk to you about their experience transitioning from middle to high school. And they're going to start off talking about how their Class Connect sessions, those are their sessions and classes that they log onto every day with their teachers, compares to their online experience in middle school. Okay, Kenesha, do you want to start, or actually Morgan, do you want to start us out?
Sure. The first thing with Class Connects that I noticed was there are numerous or more Class Connects, definitely. You'll have a bit more of some Class Connects during the day, and so the classes that were originally optional, sometimes some of them will become required. So that will be a little change that you can adjust to and you will adjust to. And there will also be probably more office hours, and also the Class Connect quizzes will sometimes be more than just buzzwords. So in middle school, it was a buzzword and you would type in the buzzword. And that is the way for some classes, but other classes you'll want to definitely pay attention because there will be questions on the Class Connect quizzes that are more than just the buzzword, and they'll definitely check how much you're paying attention during the class. So that's a little change with Class Connects.
Awesome. Go ahead, Kenesha.
One change I will say with grading is your grades will fluctuate a lot throughout the year. I feel like in middle school, your grades will stay more steady and everything, like your workload and grades stay a lot more steadier. But the new heavy workload and just all the change in high school, your grades will definitely fluctuate a lot, which is completely normal. So if you see like your grade went down from an A to a D, it's not anything to freak it's not anything to freak out about. It's completely normal. So that's one thing you should definitely look out for, is how your grades will definitely fluctuate.
And I'll just add to that, Kenesha, we were talking earlier about how in middle school and in high school, if you go past the due date on an assignment, with VAVA, we have a due date for an assignment and an end date. If you do go past the due date in high school, the teachers, very quickly will put the zeros in for that assignment. And that is sometimes what causes that fluctuation. And then once you turn the assignment in and the teacher grades it, the grade will go back up. So just be aware that you might see those zeros for assignments that go past the due date. entered into the grade book a little more quickly than you did in middle school. That can be a difference.
Thank you, Mrs.
Another,
Oh, go ahead, Kanisha.
Another thing I might add is there's definitely a lot more teacher grade assignments, especially in English and history. I know in history, we had an essay to write or teacher grade assignment either every week or every other week. So that's definitely something you really need to stay on top on, because to get behind teacher grade assignments is really hard. It's easier to get caught up in computer graded than teacher graded. So it's definitely one thing you definitely want to make the habit of staying on top of, is getting all those assignments in.
Thank you. Ariana, you were telling me how the structure of your day has been a little different because of the Class Connect schedule in high school. Can you elaborate on that some for me?
Yeah, in middle school, I only had a few classes a week, so I had a lot more time to get work done. But in high school, we had the 2:30 sessions, which adds, and I had 4 classes a day, back to back. So instead of getting breaks in between, most of the time I would just have to get to one class to the other. And that definitely changes your day because you're taking like 3 or 4 hours out of your day. So you need to make sure that you try to remember that and get through stuff that's quicker in your schoolwork and try to do some of the harder stuff on other days, because of the amount of classes, your days will definitely change.
Excellent point. Thanks for sharing that, Ariana. Okay, so now that, again, these 9th graders are all done and they're transitioning to 10th grade, they're going to offer a few words of advice, thinking about teacher support, first of all.
One thing I will add about teacher support is, I guess, just reach out to them. If you're having problems with a topic, just reach out. As Morgan said, with the Class Connects, there's definitely more like office hours and remediation SOL30s. So definitely take advantage of all those. If you need help, they won't judge you. Just go to them. And I know these teachers might seem so big and scary because you just see them on a computer screen, but they're not. I definitely know the 9th grade team, for all the rising 9th graders, the 9th grade team is really great. And I had such an amazing relationship with every single one of them, which made my year really, really enjoyable. So if you're a rising 9th grader, trust me, the teachers are amazing. And just building a really nice relationship with your teacher it's really amazing. They seem so big and scary, but they're really sweet and helpful. So that's just one piece of advice I give you guys, is these are great teachers. You're gonna be fine.
One thing I'd like to add to that, Kanisha, is that, Ms. Moorbacher and myself as advisors, we're here always for you to reach out to us as well. And also going back to the Class Connect topic and teacher support, you will have optional extra help sessions on your Class Connect, for example, math or Spanish. Sometimes those will say optional, but if you are struggling in a class, that is the best place to go for extra help from your teacher, and it's more one-on-one, versus in the big Class Connect. So if you're struggling in a class, you don't need to think of those as optional, really. You need to make sure that you're going to those extra help sessions and adding that in your schedule. And like Ariana said, still making sure you have time to do all your assignments too.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Ariana, did you want to talk about check-ins maybe that you have with your their learning coaches?
Yeah, I check in with my learning coach at least once a day. At the end of the day, after I finish all my schoolwork, we sit down and I tell them what subjects I did and how long, so we can put in attendance. And then if I'm struggling with something or I did bad on a quiz or a test, I tell them about it and we review it, or we make a plan to talk to my teachers and figure out how to fix that. So I think checking with your learning coach is definitely very important, at least once a day, if you're struggling with something and for attendance.
Right. Anyone want to elaborate? I know, Morgan, you had a nice system too that you were sharing about with your learning coach. as well?
Oh, well, yeah, with my learning coach, we coordinate attendance. So because you have to log in attendance every day, I kind of just text her, my hours and what I did in algebra and what I did in history. So we do that every day. And then that's kind of like a routine and habit, actually. So for routines and habits, definitely planning the night before for your next day or for the next week, possibly even month. So planning is definitely helpful, and I found it helpful. I have a planner now, and I just kind of write down my lessons and what I'm going to do when I first wake up, and then what I want to do before a class connects, because there are more class connects. So you'll definitely want to plan the night before and just get into that routine kind of. Kanisha talked about procrastination earlier. So you want to not procrastinate and try to get into the habit of, a routine and making a plan, because a plan really helps.
Right. And I just want to chime in and say too, ladies, I know you guys were all great students. That's why you're helping me out with these videos here today. Everyone's level of motivation might be different, and it might even vary throughout the school year. If you're at a point where you're feeling like you're not very motivated to do your schoolwork, then perhaps you need more check-ins with your learning coach. So you guys have talked about checking in once a day with your learning coach. If you're struggling, maybe you need a morning check-in, a midday check-in, and an afternoon check-in with your learning coach, just so they can keep you encouraged, so they can help you make sure that you're doing your assignments. And that doesn't mean that you're any less of a teenager and you can still maintain your independence, but we all need help sometimes. And it's just perfectly normal to recognize, and a good thing and a healthy thing to recognize, when you need a little bit of extra support to keep you motivated. Okay.
Yeah, I know for me, I play soccer in fall and spring, and I'm on an archery team. So I go, and all my siblings play sports, so we're always on the move. So sometimes it can get very stressful trying to figure out how to get to all our practices and games and do schoolwork and make sure we have all our classes done. So I definitely, towards the beginning and end of the school year, I have to check with my learning coach a lot, because we have a lot of coordinating we have to do, and just for support, because I will get very stressed out about how much I have to do. So it's important to sit down and plan for sure.
Great point. Mrs. Clem, did you have anything else?
No, go
I
ahead.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, I'll add to the schedule thing. I mean, having a good schedule for the day is, what will help you sink or swim really when you're starting high school. I mean, these students have pointed out how much more the workload becomes. So having that schedule and staying organized needs to be, your top priority when you start the school year out. And if you ever need help, making that out or figuring that out, like as advisors, we can do a one-on-one session with you and help you, figure that out too. If you ever need help, just, reach out.
Great. All right, ladies, we're going to move on to the next slide. All right, so again, reflecting back on your freshman experience, ladies, I want you to think about what you have really appreciated about this year, and maybe any lessons learned as well.
This year has definitely taught me to not be so hard on myself. School is very stressful, and with school, I feel like so many people can put us, like, we have such high standards when it comes to school. And I know for me, my high standards were definitely my grades, because I don't know, like in middle school and high school, your grades do stay a lot more steady. So if you have an A in that class, it is a lot more steadier. So I know that this year, at the beginning of the year, and I didn't turn one assignment in, and my teacher put it in for a 0, and my grade went from an A to a D. I was freaking out, and I honestly felt like literally just a failure. I felt like such a failure at that moment. I was like just not happy. But one thing, it kept happening throughout the year. My grades kept fluctuating. Turn the assignment in, it goes back up. And it's honestly probably going to become a pattern. So that's one thing to learn with yourself, is do not be so hard on yourself. It's okay if you don't turn an assignment in and your grade goes down, because that's honestly what's going to happen. I feel like you can even try your best to not let it happen, but there's always going to be that one assignment you like forgot about. So just don't be so hard on yourself. High school, definitely will teach you a lot about yourself, and it will definitely test you. So it will definitely test you and bring out the best in you and it will definitely just force you to see how much strength you have to help you get through those times, and that A can even become an F at times. So I guess that's just one thing. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're gonna learn a lot in high school.
Well
Yeah,
said, Kanisha.
yeah. So I definitely agree. Definitely to add to that, yeah, I definitely went through that as a perfectionist. You kind of just want your grades to be perfect, but they're not going to be in high school, and that's okay. That is definitely okay. You just, one quote that I have from one of my favorite songs was to battle through the hard times and be grateful for the good ones, which I just take to heart, definitely. So there are going to be difficult times and there are going to be great times, and you want to be really grateful and enjoy those great times, and just know that you will get through this, and just live in the moment and try your best to enjoy it, because you only go to high school, like only for 4 years, and it goes by really fast.
Right. Ariana, do you have any additional thoughts, or maybe talk about the relationships that you've built with some of your peers?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Keisha and Morgan. Don't be so hard on yourself. Your grades will change a lot, but I thought it was very important to make friends in school in VAVA that go to your classes so you can talk to them if you're struggling with an assignment. Maybe even work on it together. In study groups, I formed study groups for math with some of my peers, and we all were good at different parts of it, so we could kind of work together to get our homework done and stuff we needed to. So it's definitely important to try to build friendship with your peers, because it'll definitely help you and motivate you, and definitely help get through some of the hard assignments.
What I might add from that is I feel like it's not a necessity, but it's really nice to develop friends in the homeschooling area, because I know with me, most of my friends are in public school, so I know it was really nice to have friends from VAVA where you guys have the same classes and everything. So I know I have friends right now who I could think of where I text them saying, have you done this assignment? I understand this assignment, like Ariana said. And it's just really nice to even talk outside of school. So that's one thing I'll say. It's really nice to have friends outside of the public school area, having friends in the homeschool area. And even if I don't have friends, I have friends in the homeschool area, like in classes and stuff, where I don't have a number, we don't talk outside school. But even then, for all the rising ninth graders, I can think of there are teachers who keep the chat box open. And it's even nice, even then, during class, because you do develop a relationship with your classmates and those students. Just being in class is time with each other, and it's really nice. So that's one thing I recommend, is trying to develop friends in VAVA, because it's just really nice to have friends in the homeschooling.
Well said, ladies. Now, just as a final thought, our student leaders here talked about some of the hard times and how they were ultimately able to overcome those hard times. And they were able to overcome those hard times because they had grit. When everything's got hard, they dug down deep inside. Like Kanisha said, high school will help you develop that. It'll bring out the best in you and help you develop strength. And as you develop grit, I want you to think that life is like a grit, is living life like it's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, so think about pacing yourself throughout the year and what you can do ultimately to make the most of your freshman experience. Also, if you have follow-up questions, you can reach out to myself. I'm currently the 9th grade advisor, and perhaps Mrs. Clem if things change around next year. You never know.
Never know, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I would definitely add to that. Please reach out for connection. Social connection is so important. Sometimes, new to high school or even new to Virginia Virtual altogether, You know, sometimes you might feel isolated. You know, you're at home doing school, you know, you might feel isolated, but reach out for those social connections, because that will, you know, we're all in this together and we can always help each other along. So reach out. Yeah.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in and joining us for this session. Stay tuned for our next session. Bye.